Well, I'm on the highway right now, but I ran into Brian Lauer just a little while ago.
Okay, where did you see him at?
I was at the parking lot for the Appalachian Trail on the north side of Great Smoke.
Okay, can you tell me, like, was you at an overlook? So where did you see him at?
On Waterville Road.
Hey guys, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Monday, October 4th, and is your Facebook down and your Instagram and you're just like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do with my life? This is redonkulous. This is how I've been feeling today. I have a very active Instagram community and we are not talking today and I'm missing you guys so much. Welcome back. I had filmed a video this morning with relation to the Brian Laundrie situation, and of course more information has come out, so I'm going to just start from scratch. There has been a lot of sightings of Brian, and yet for some reason he's not anywhere where these sightings happen. A lot of people are looking for Brian, and because Brian, I think, has a pretty nondescript look, he is 5'8", kind of balding, and has he's slim, and he's just your average guy. He does have some tattoos, so if you do see him, check his hands for tattoos. In fact, the individual that did his tattoos shared photos with someone who posted them on Twitter to let people know that the tattoos of the ivy are actually, in fact, real tattoos and not henna. So the tattoos on his hand are a key differentiating thing to look for, since balding men in general are all getting tagged for being Brian Laundrie. But one area in particular has been receiving a lot of sightings, and that is in North Carolina. So over the weekend, this individual named Dennis, he came forward and said that he saw Brian Laundrie out on a road in the Appalachian Trail. He had been approached by this car when he was doing like a U-turn, and the guy was kind of frantic and wanted to get to California and said that he still needed to get to his girlfriend and he needed to go to California. And he made a call to 911 and he contacted them and let them know that he ran into Brian Lauer. So he did get the name wrong, and then he proceeded to tell them what occurred. Check it out.
He was driving a truck, and I stopped and talked to him. It was a white truck. I think it was a Ford F-150. I'm not 100% sure of that. And it was kind of a newer model. It wasn't like an old beater. It was a newer truck. Well, first off, I was making a U-turn and in the road, and he came up behind me and he slowed down and kind of flashed his lights, like telling me, "Oh, go ahead and go, and I'm going to wait for you." And as I turned around and I'm coming back by him, he's waving his arm out of his truck, like for me to slow down. And I pull up next to him. I'm getting ready to go through the tunnel here. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I stopped, and he was talking wild. He said that his girlfriend loved him, and he had to go out to California to see her. And he was asking me how to get to California. And I said, well, you can get on I-40 right there and drive west, and you'll get there. And he said, no, I think I can go this way, and kind of left. But he was acting funny. And I wasn't sure about what he looked like. And then I went and parked, and pulled up the photographs of him, and I'm 99.99% sure that was him.
So as people are looking in North Carolina, there has been more sightings. There was a woman on Facebook this morning that was claiming that she saw him at a gas station in Tennessee, not far away from the area in which this other gentleman, Dennis, saw him in North Carolina. So because there has been so many different sightings, the police in Haywood County Sheriff's, where the bulk of these sightings have been taking place, has issued a statement, and on Twitter they said that they have been receiving a number of calls regarding the sightings of Brian Laundrie over the past several days. Each one has been investigated thoroughly and the areas of concern searched, but all to no avail. So they are receiving an influx of calls, but after investigating the calls, they are not finding Brian. So it's either mistaken identity or he's just leaving as soon as he's found. Unfortunately, when we are hearing about these sightings on social media, the photos that are shared are generally very grainy, and it's also the people that are describing Brian, sometimes it doesn't even sound like him. For instance, there was someone today that said that they saw him driving a Durango, and then the guy, Dennis, believed he was driving a Ford F-150. And then somebody in Ohio believed they saw him at a motel. And in the middle of all of that, while Haywood County Sheriff's Office is getting a ton of calls on Brian, the FBI in Florida are continuing to search Carlton Reserve. So earlier today, there was some footage that was shared on Twitter that showed that they were actively looking in the swampier areas, but much more of an isolated search or a targeted search of specific areas, and they seem to be moving out towards a park reserve or a state park that's right outside of Carlton Reserve. So if Carlton Reserve isn't big enough, they also have a state park that is right next to it that Brian could have theoretically moved into and is there. For some reason, they believe that this is a hot location to look for Brian, and there's been a lot of speculation that the reason why could be that there is footage of him going into the Carlton Reserve and there are trail cams, so maybe they saw him walk in and then they didn't see him walk out, or perhaps they saw him walk in with something like a backpack where belongings, and then he came out without anything. It's hard to know. They have way more intel than we do, and I have this belief that they're not just going to be going off the word of the parents at this point. I'm guessing they have some sort of intel that keeps them there, or maybe they feel like some evidence was disposed of there, or maybe it is just a humongous area and they really do think that Brian is there. So they're continuing to search in Carlton Reserve, and then meanwhile there were all these sightings in North Carolina. There has been sightings in Alabama. There has been sightings apparently in Alberta, Canada. He is one person that has legitimately been all over the United States. So he has not been seen yet. They have not found him. There has been no updates regarding anything related to the search. We have not heard anything from the FBI in Denver. Over the weekend, we did learn from Gabby's parents that they have launched the Gabby Petito Foundation, and Gabby's mom, Nicole, tweeted for the very first time that she was, "Mama Bear is getting angry, turn yourself in." So she sent a message to Brian that she was kind of wearing tired of him being on the run and she wanted him to turn himself in. Her stepmother Tara also shared a tweet which said, "Gabby, I will love you to the moon and back always and forever." Jim Schmidt, her stepfather, said, "It still seems surreal. I miss you, Gabs." Joseph Petito announced each one of their new accounts as they were coming out on a Twitter. And then yesterday they announced that the Gabby Petito Foundation had launched. And then this morning, Joseph Petito tweeted, "We have to do better. Changes are coming. Now is the time. Don't be silent." They are looking to help victims of DV. They're also looking to help families of missing people. And they're also hoping to provide help and resources to other families that have gone through similar things as what they've done. Now, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and so he did tag those specific tags like domestic violence awareness, and silence is definitely in this situation was deadly for Gabby. No one around her seemed to understand the severity of what she was dealing with Brian. As we are continuing to get sightings from all over the United States and Brian is remaining elusive, TikTok actually got in on it, and earlier today they had a banner going in the air for Gabby. And the banner said, "Justice for Gabby, TikTok time's up." The banner was going around the Laundrie's home, and a TikTok user put the whole thing together with his followers. The user, Justin on TikTok, with the help of his followers on TikTok, actually paid for this service to go and in the air, and it basically said, "Justice for Gabby, TikTok time's up." So everyone is still wanting and putting pressure on the Laundries. There are still protesters outside of the house. There are neighbors that have been playing music like Dirty Laundry by the Eagles. Everyone wants the Laundries to do the right thing, and they're not talking. And suddenly the lawyer that couldn't stop leaking information has stopped communicating with most of reporters. So Friday, he drops this bomb that Brian's sister Cassie actually did see him after she had been on Good Morning America, basically saying that she hadn't spoken to him. It was revealed by the attorney, Stephen Bertolino, that she saw him on September 1st and September 6th. So on September 1st, the same day that he got home, he went over to Cassie's house, and she told Good Morning America that she didn't know that Gabby was missing until the news broke, and she found out it from the news. So something was going on in Cassie's where she was either protecting her brother or protecting her family, but that created a storm on the internet. And now since then, Stephen Bertolino has said he's been zipped. So with the source for information from the Laundrie family, there has been literally no news from them regarding what their thoughts are about Brian. They're still not actively actually looking for him. They were out gardening yesterday, which a TikToker caught with a drone, and they are sort of just living their life in their house, doing their thing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where Brian is. The FBI is still searching in Carlton Reserve. North Carolina police are now following up on leads, and we are no closer to finding Brian at this point. So what are your thoughts about this? Are the sightings that are happening in these other states false alarms? Are people just being hyper vigilant and thinking that everyone that's skinny and bald might be Brian? And what about this foundation? Are you excited to hear about the Gabby Petito Foundation? They are having a fundraiser. They're first on October 17th. You can check out the Gabby Petito website in my description box and learn how to donate if you wish to donate, or learn about their benefit coming up in a couple weeks. All right, you guys, tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye.